My first insight wouldn't be an insight for anybody else. My first insight was, I am not my crazy,
Mm.
and it just, there's something, a thought that makes you see differently, makes you look at it differently, and then allows you to relate to your thinking differently. And they don't always have words, an insight comes with a good feeling and a clearer vision.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that because I was trying to think of like, okay, how do I put words to my insights? Because I don't have words. I have feelings that I could around them that came up that I could try my best to describe, but it's even really hard to try to put an insight into words because they are different for everybody. And I love Jack's definition of it. For me, I don't know. When I think of it, it's a simplified thing for me, right? I think an insight is literally a sight inside, a glimpse even of your true self and your essence at your core, your soul, your authenticness, everything that's innate. So for me, like it's that thought that takes you inside and you don't even know that's where that thought was taking you. And like Jen said, sometimes you don't even know what it is, what the thought is, because don't ask me. I can just tell you everything's different, but I cannot tell you the exact thing it was. And I think it was for Sydney Banks. It took like what, 10 years before he realized
Before
um
he could put
put it into words.
words,
Yeah. So
kind
I
of,
don't feel
to
bad because sometimes I'm like, oh crap, why can't I say? Why
Mm.
is it just this feeling, of peace and joy and happiness and just like to an extreme level, like a level that I had never felt in my life. But I can't tell you what triggered it. I can't tell you any words around it. I can just tell you everything was absolutely amazing in that moment. And then now it's just ahas, which I'll let Melissa, you talk about insight for a little bit because I feel like if I go into ahas, it's a little different.
So I really like it's like in that moment, it's like reality shifts. It rearranges itself without you having to do anything or try and work it out.
yes.
Mhm.
And I love this metaphor. So it's you're watching a scary movie at night, and the music is intense, and the shadows going everywhere, and you're feeling the fear, and your heartbeat's going, and you know you can feel that there's something bad that's going to happen. And then the camera lens comes out, and just for a second, you see the edge of the set. You see the microphones. You see the other actors in the background laughing, and instantly the fear goes because you've seen beyond the illusion now. And it's like, it doesn't matter that the music's still going, the shadows are still going, that intense music and that is still there, but you just can't be scared the same way you was before because you've seen behind the illusion. That's an insight. It's getting that shift of perspective. It's getting that different, it's getting the sight behind the illusion of what you're experiencing.
And it's effortless. It's effortless. It just happens. There's a new thought, there's a good feeling, there's something. And inside of you, it just changes
Mhm.
everything. And all of a sudden, everything on the outside looks different.
Yeah.
All of a
Even if
sudden,
nothing.
it's exactly. But all of a sudden, the problems that you were facing, they're still there, but they're not problems anymore. Cause now it's like, holy shit, I let my mind settle. I got quiet with it. And now I just know what to do.
Yeah.
It
I'm gonna share something that I've never shared before.
Ooh.
And so I know, right? But this was kind of one of the first things. So after I had this shift and I saw it differently and everything was beautiful and like just everything was beautiful. I was sitting in my room and I was studying the Ultimate Coach program, and everybody else is in the living room, which is kind of like right outside my bedroom. And I hear them talking about there's these lights outside, these yellow lights, and it's literally my car being repossessed by the, repo man taking it away. And I was in my room and I hear them saying what it is and I hear what's going on. And the thought that went through my head was, oh, well, okay, I'll either get it back or I won't.
Hmm.
And then I stopped because, like, I was like, what? I questioned it. I was like, who was that? Because that's not me. That's not, no, what is going on right now? It was really cool just because I was wondering where is the freak out? Where is the so dramatic? Where's the screaming, the yelling? And I wasn't stopping any of it. I wasn't pushing it away. I wasn't saying, "Oh no, we don't do this." I was more like, "What the hell just happened? Like, who said that? I'll either get it or I won't." Like, what the hell happened to me? And I still didn't even realize it, but that was like my first thing that showed that once you get a kind of a glimpse and have an insight, a shift in perspective, the illusion goes away. That was not my normal reaction to a problem like that. And that's kind of what we mean too. I'm not saying that that's going to be exactly for everybody, but for each of us, whatever level of consciousness we are at, it's problems at that level or the previous level, they dissipate and they're no longer a problem. And yet that's the truth. I've seen that in a couple different ways, but yeah, that was my first like, who said that? What's going on here? What'd you do with Crystal? So I've never shared that before. So
I
there
love
you go, everybody.
I love that. I absolutely love that because it is like when you get those new thoughts, especially when you have that level of awareness
Mhm.
that we do, like, and when you have this level of awareness, it's like, oh, that's a new thought. That's interesting. And then it becomes fun. And yeah, I had one. I mean, this is really personal. Um, so I'm going to share it anyway because I'm a sharer. But the other day, okay, so obviously I spoke about I've had issues with sex for a while, you know, and my partner wanted sex and we was in bed. I was like, okay. And then he was touching me and all of a sudden, bang, insight. And I realized because obviously I'm still numb, I still don't really feel anything. And I'm like, oh, I've been trying to actively feel. And instead, what I need to do is just accept it first. And I was like, oh my God, Dave, I just realized something. Like, I've been trying to change it and I've accepted everything else in my life. Why hadn't I thought about doing it there? You know, and it's like these insights are just so powerful. They just kind of they literally like 360 turn you into a different life.
Yeah, they show up, and then the uh, the old thinking patterns we used to fall back on all of a sudden aren't there.
Yeah.
There were times where when things would get tough, up until 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, when I came into this and had my first insight, where when things got rough and I felt overwhelmed, I would still have that thought. You could just get high. And now it's like what I would have seen before as my entire world falling and crumbling around me. Now, my first thought is it's not as bad as it seems. and I take a step back. And that thought of I could just get high or I could run because I was a runner, whenever things started to look like they might go bad, I would dip out or I'd destroy it completely and then dip out because, you don't want to go backwards. So you might as well burn the bridge while you're on it, right? And yeah, I decided I was told that those were behaviors because of my addiction and my bipolar. And so I identified with those. That's just who I am because I'm broken.
Mm.
There's something wrong with me. I'm not wired right. So I'm just going to fuck it up. And it's like now I don't have that, well, I'm just going to fuck it up. Might as well screw it up now, right? I don't have that anymore. That's not there. And it's, like I said, that first insight of I am not my crazy. I guess that could go along with like when Eckhart Tolle says, we have a voice in our head that pretends to be us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I had crazy in my head that pretended it was me. And I could see that, holy shit, just because it's going on doesn't mean that's me. And that was a huge one for me. That was when I was finally able to start to drop below those thought storms, those hurricanes on, that's when I was able to start to fall below them, is seeing that, well, that's just noise. That's not really who I am. And the insights are so different. There's some that I'll be listening to something and just get, the tinglies all over and I'll start crying. And I have no idea what the hell was just said. Not a
Mhm.
clue.
Yep.
But the cool thing with that is don't try to figure it out. Just sit in that good feeling because it starts to unfold in your everyday life when shit hits the fan and you're like, well, I'll get it back or I won't.